You started so well. I think you understand if you're playing at the Santiago Bernabeu that they're very likely to grab a goal. It's up to Paris Saint-Germain to say all right. We'll go on, score 2 or 3, and make sure that that's long forgotten when they talk about the game. But we've just got to dig in a little bit now. And that obviously is going to give Real Madrid a little bit of confidence.
You got a goal in the 17th minute. Obviously, just a minute or so later, coming up to 19 minutes completed. Real Madrid, perhaps with their confidence, might get the fans on their side early doors as well. Although Gareth Bale's, of course, not on the pitch at the moment. He's still getting 1 or 2 cheers from the locals. Hasn't quite been forgiven, perhaps, as Real Madrid start another attack, switching from right to left. Marcelo tries to work a 1-2 with Hazard. He's just forced a little bit wide, and then Meunier eases Marcelo out of the way before Marquinhos wins it back. Verratti under a little bit of pressure, it does well enough, and Sergio Ramos is quick to win it off Idrissa Gueye. Then Meunier is caught to his man from behind. No, he hasn't, says the referee. He says play on. He felt Eden Hazard went to ground very easily there. He's gesturing for him to get up, and Real Madrid quickly back in defensive positions. PSG unable to effect a quick counter. I suppose you would stuck out a leg, it ricocheted off one onto
Give him a right boost up. Very nearly grabbed the second direct from a corner. I wonder if it's one of those where they think, you know, he's only a small man, and so let's have a go. You know, when he goes into traffic, he's going to be in trouble. But it's not like they're marking the keeper there. As Rob said, he stood by himself virtually, and you think he either got that wrong or he got it bang right, the corner kick taker, and it was an intelligent goal. Anyway, it didn't quite work out. But it's all Real Madrid at the minute as they go down the left-hand side, and Eden Hazard, playing like Eden Hazard today. He cuts and he drags it back onto his right foot, finds his goal just inside the box, then in and out. Back out to the left-hand side. And he just jabs that ball back for Toni Kroos, sticks about the options, and then stabs an easy ball for Varane. He's got Carvajal and uses him, ball back on the inside to Isco. Little cut from him. And then Valverde, back to Isco. And it's not exactly mesmerising, but it's too good for PSG at the minute. You know, 1 and 2 touch from Real Madrid. And just to say that, of course, the ball hammered out on the full. Marcelo, no chance of getting that one. But yeah, it's really good football. And I think, Zinedine Zidane, he's going to be pleased. You know, they rode the early storm and they've grabbed themselves a goal. If you're Tommy Tuchel, then I don't think you'd be best thrilled. At the minute, they need to dig a little bit more in midfield. It wouldn't be the fault if it just Gana Gay's a player I like. You know, it seems a long time since he went down from the Premier League with Aston Villa. And he immediately got picked up, didn't he? And now he's moved on to bigger and better things. Marcelo makes a move. Isco at the edge of the area, gets the ball out of his feet. Valverde chips it into the box, but it will break back for Carvajal. And then Real Madrid will have another goal. Yeah, maybe, just in that engine room, Verratti, Gay, Marquinhos, they just don't have enough to win the ball at the minute. It's a team game really, but I always think, we're playing against Real Madrid and they're playing 4-3-3. But essentially Marcelo might as well be another midfielder if not an attacker, so he's always charming in there. And again, even though they sort of overbalance the team with him going forward on the left, it just seems to work out. This time Benzema can't find him, but Marcelo's so high up the field and much further up than Eden Hazard at the minute. But PSG played their way out of trouble there, that was pretty good from them. And then Bernat looking to play his way out, but again they're stripped to the ball. Isco now, and all the game being played in PSG's half at the minute. There's the ball with the Benzema, chance for a strike. No, he decides to lay that ball back. Shot comes in, and did that come bouncing back off the post? I'm not sure the keeper got a touch onto that. The cross comes back in again. Marcelo with a strike, and he drags that into the box. But it's shots in at the minute, and they're laying down the market. I've seen them in this group this season, and I've thought to myself, well, these lot are not going to win Champions League, but they're playing against one of the better teams, and they're all over them now, Real Madrid. And here they go again, just at the edge of the area, but the little cutback there didn't quite work out. Casemiro can't get on the end of that, and PSG now a chance to play out, but Mbappe there can't get on the end of that ball. They're playing Mbappe. I think they're playing Mbappe on the left because they want to give a reason why they're not playing Neymar, because they've fallen out with him. But he's not having much of an influence out there.
Yeah, I thought he looked dangerous on the right. I don't know why they've swapped, particularly with Marcelo bombing forward. You just say Mbappe, just stay on the right touchline. There'll be an acres of space. He's done it already. He got into two very good positions, helped out by Meunier, but since he switched to the left, Marcelo's playing as a winger, Hazard's got an overlap, and PSG, I mean, to be honest, I don't think PSG are too bothered if they win or lose this game. They're 5 points clear of Real Madrid, obviously it'd be 2 if they lost, and they've got a chance to seal the group, so I don't think they're necessarily too bothered. I don't understand that particular swap, because Di Maria was on the left, to start. A couple of goals elsewhere actually. Bayern are in front, as are Atlanta, and Olympiacos have got a second away at Spurs, so not a great start to the Champions League for Jose Mourinho.
No, I saw that second goal. I think it was a corner kick, but anyway, it's quite surprising really. Usually Olympiacos don't travel that well. Here come Real Madrid, Benzema, little ball back on the inside for Eden Hazard. He dragged it past two, but just Gana Gay gets a good little foot in there, able to take that ball off him. And Marquinhos trying to make ground. The ball won back by Real Madrid. They're on it tonight. Well, maybe PSG not that bothered, but it looks like Real Madrid are. And unless they book their ideas up near PSG, they're going to get buried. There's most of the players been in their half, but it's still just a one-goal game. Real Madrid won, Paris Saint-Germain 0, and it was the number 9 Benzema with the strike after Isco hit the post, just tapping there, well, smashing in the rebound actually. There's the ball played out from the back by Kipembe, and then Bernat, and they've got Verratti if they want, but they go to Mbappe again. And Valverde now is able to stand there and make sure that he has 2 men on him. And the ball into midfield, Marquinhos again, just tiny stuff. And again the 2 centre halves, Silva and Kipembe, just laying that ball out. And again with Mbappe, who fires the ball into the box, and then it's pushed out by the keeper. Back into open play. In theory that wasn't great keeping because he's pushing it into a danger area. Should he have done better?
No, I think he definitely should have done better. He got a little bit lucky, so close to the keeper I suppose. The men in blue weren't really gambling that he'd make a mistake. I mean, you at the very least do expect him to punch it out of the area as opposed to flap it into around about the penalty spot, but they got away with it.
Yeah, they did. PSG now edge of the area, ball to the box, and then the shot that's blocked. But that's much better. And in the end, Di Maria's effort probably wouldn't have been the keeper, but it forced a block. That means that they've got a corner kick and an opportunity then to bring up the big guns and see if they can't manage to get round Ramos and the rest. He and Varane, quite decent size, and they've got a big keeper, of course. The ball is over everybody, straight out through the box and out the back. Really poor corner kick that. PSG is still struggling to get foothold in the game now.
Still Real Madrid 1, PSG 0. Real Madrid looking the better of the 2 sides. Admittedly their recent chances have been from distance, but they've been pretty good ones as well. Hazard and Benzema worked the opening down the left hand side. Benzema, his first shot was blocked, came back to him, tried to barrel his way through. In the end, Navas dived at his feet, deflected away from a corner. Kroos tried to score directly from that corner, and it was tipped back over the bar.
It's on the clock. Real Madrid 1, Paris Saint-Germain 0, and Mbappe just grimacing there like he'd been caught. So far, at every given opportunity, they're going to get the ball to him. Oh, ball given away again. A chance for Real Madrid. Eden Hazard now, a chance to find the Benzema in the box. He dwelt on the ball too long, and able to get a challenge in behind, which slows him down. So ball chipped then to Benzema, right into the path of his 7, who he actually does well. Eden Hazard getting away from Verratti. Ball breaks back for a shot, and a save by Navas, who pulled it in at just about the second attempt there. It was a decent hit. I'm not quite sure who it was who hit that ball in.
Tony Kroos, wasn't it? They're giving him too much time and space in these sort of positions. I'm not convinced that he's necessarily the great midfielder defensively, but you give him time and space, he's going to pick passes, he's going to shoot, he's got a shot on him either foot, and he's tested the keeper there. Bounced awkwardly in front of Navas. He was at his near post, I suppose. From that range you'd expect him to make the save, but needed 2 bites at the cherry. I mean, they've got 3 midfielders in there. I don't think they're doing a fantastic job. Verratti, Marquinhos and Idrissa Gueye as a trio. I think Real Madrid could arguably be further ahead.
Yeah, they could, but now PSG on the counter-attack, and they went their way to the byline. If Mbappe's kept that ball in, he's done a miraculous job, but it didn't matter because there's nobody there. Anyway, Real Madrid allowed to play the ball out with Courtois just rolling it out. Might have been a goal kick that, but anyway, they're not bothered to wait and find out. Marcelo picks it up, and they're now with Benzema, and it's a bit of slow play this time as the ball goes back to Eden Hazard. They have a much better game today. Looks a lot more like him. Just to say that, he gives the ball away, but he's trying to find Benzema, and it all got a little bit narrow and congested. So anyway, it is PSG playing out from the back. Marquinhos now forced to play it back to Kipembe, and then the ball out sees well, again a good challenge in on from Casemiro, I thought, but not according to our referee. And Diaz thought there was a foul on Verratti, and then the ball goes out to the right hand side, and a chance for Meunier to make ground, but they're forced backwards again, and again it's just a Ghana Gay who has gone to help out as they now play out from the back. Kipembe into Verratti, who gets the return ball. Marquinhos is the insurance in behind him. They keep wanting to go on Mbappe. He's moved back on the inside now. He's more central. Just a Ghana Gay picks the ball up and flicks it out to Meunier, right hand side. And he controls it, 2 or 3 touches. Di Maria goes backwards to Marquinhos, then Verratti, and then now just at the edge of the area, ball into the box for Mbappe and a shot, and a save near post. I mean, he's a big guy, it's hard to beat him inside or out there, but that's much better, isn't it, from PSG. Lovely little move, and Mbappe released into the box, had his shot on target.
Yeah, I mean, if he was able to square, I'm not sure he was ever looking for a square pass there, so close in. The angle's not fantastic, but he's on his weaker left, and I think he made it quite easy for Thibaut Courtois there, so just the corner.
Yeah, they don't throw it into the box, but well, now it's been slightly overplayed, and it looked like the ball had gone out, but no, referee again allows the game to go on. The ball had not quite gone over the line, but they've got a bit of chasing back to do. As Meunier now picks the ball up and makes some ground, chips the ball into the box, but well, I think it'd be nice to say that he put that ball into space, and eventually that ball went out. There was nobody on the end of that. Yeah, they started off well, PSG, and you can see that they've got a real danger man in Mbappe. But you know, the whole thing doesn't look that cohesive or great.
No, it's expecting starts really from PSG. I think they've given the ball away a lot in their own half as well, so that's put a bit of pressure on the defence. I don't think Real Madrid look watertight. We've seen other games with Real Madrid. I think I did that Club Brugge game with you, and they were all over the place in that game. Managed to get a draw. That was at home, and you can see PSG scoring in this if you know, if they put something together. Mbappe stood out. Icardi's had a couple of decent chances which he hasn't hit the target with, so he'll be a little bit disappointed. But yeah, I don't think it's going to stay 1-0. Real Madrid have looked dangerous most times they come forward, particularly after taking the lead. And I think PSG are just giving the ball to him as well.
Here you go, Real Madrid. The ball into the box, and Isco's waiting for that. It's close to dropping to him. And that's a nice little ball from Marcelo to Isco, then out to left hand side. Eden Hazard. Marcelo foot on the ball. He's going to drive across. Picks out a ball to the far post. Carvajal trying to dish it back in. Benzema keeps that ball alive under pressure then from Bernat, that does well. Finds it, Carvajal at the byline, able to lay that ball back to the Frenchman, who gets it out of his feet. Now Casemiro just tidy, looking for the overlap for Benzema, but instead he flicks it into the middle for Ramos, then Cruz, who holds up Maria. Di Maria should I say, and then the ball into the box. Chance for a spin and a turn. Isco can't quite get that shot clean. And then the shot breaks, and it's a good save. Just from the edge of the area, thunderbolt in there. Probably a good angle for Keylor Navas. He's not tall, but able to get almost behind that. Stop it going in. And again, Cruz just at the edge of the area. Well, this time there's no forward momentum. He finds Varane, who again finds a white shirt in Carvajal. Casemiro back, he's the insurance player. You know, It tends to be they throw so many bodies forward. Oft times it's just Casemiro and his two centre backs, and I think that makes them really weak and vulnerable. Not enough bodies prepared to chase back for Real Madrid. We saw that certainly against Bruges. Anyway, they're keeping hold of the ball at the minute. PSG can't get it. Isco's taking a good position. It's getting a little bit congested just at the edge of the box. He's forced to go backwards. Now Casemiro with the shot deflected, and well, Keylor Navas might hurt himself jumping into the post there, that deflected shot. But in the end, it's going to be a corner.
Yeah, it's more pressure, and they're not afraid to shoot from distance. Seeing that chance for Isco again, I wouldn't say the defender was particularly convincing from Thiago Silva. It's a thunderous effort. I think it was Dani Carvajal, wasn't it, who had the effort, which was palmed away. Now Casemiro's tried his luck from distance. We've already seen him kind of try and put this ball on the keeper under the crossbar and just attack it. Ramos is as good as anyone at doing that.
Ball into the box and a shot, and it's nearly through there. Marcelo squeezing it through bodies, and I think that's a really good save because he must have been unsighted there. Keylor Navas, he's just somehow able to stop that going in. Anyway, Eden Hazard now with a crossfield ball out to the left hand side is Toni Kroos, who finds Marcelo at a standing start, and he digs the ball out to Isco left hand side. He goes driving now to the edge of the box. Oh, and then he's trying to put the ball in the box for Marcelo, who tries to win the ball, even though it's the wrong side. A smile on his face, and a kiss on the back of the head for Thiago Silva. Marcelo remains a brilliant player, doesn't he? And just so pivotal for Real Madrid. And he very nearly grabbed his second, but it's a good save by Navas.
Yeah, both fullbacks testing the keeper there within a matter of minutes. Yeah, the corners look dangerous as well. Navas. Obviously I was thinking Ramos would be a target, just throw it in there on Navas, Ramos attack it, but maybe that's what PSG were expecting, because Marcelo was in space, edge of the box, and it brought a decent save. I still think he'd be disappointed if he didn't save it, but yeah, you never can tell with a crowded penalty, or sometimes you don't see it late. He did his job and it remains 1-0, but maybe PSG need the half-time break, because yeah, Real Madrid very much on top.
Yeah, I think I'd be making a change of foul with them anyway. Ball just cleared away. Another chance for Di Maria, but it's a good challenge that comes in. I thought it was a bit half-hearted there, Di Maria. Anyway, Real Madrid again. And again, Marcelo wanting to burst on the overlap. Gives Eden Hazard an option. He goes short to him. Eden Hazard picks it back up. Able to run around just again. Casemiro looking for the defence-splitting ball. Can't quite make it work this time. That was Ramos who was inside the area there, playing number 9. You know, and Kroos had gone back to be one of the 3 defenders, if you like. But now it's where they've left themselves short. Ball into the box. He can't get there. I don't know about the challenge though. It's a poor challenge from Courtois. They might need to take a look at that. It's a free kick in or outside the box. Well, it's all right, Ramos going up being a number 9 there, but then they made a mess. They did have numbers back. And although it wasn't a great break, and the ball to Kari left a lot to be desired, I think it's a penalty kick. I think it's
a penalty. I think they're arguing. I mean, he tried to pull out in the end. He slid to the edge of the box, and if he'd have carried through with a slide, he's probably going to make contact outside the box. But he tried to pull out, and so he's in the box. And Icardi just nipped it past him, and there was contact afterwards. They're having to check that it's outside the area, but I mean, VAR's going to give this as a penalty, no doubt about it.
I tell you what makes me laugh. Yeah, check. But they're
Real Madrid are arguing that there was a foul. Madrid and desperate for the
and he is gone. So we take another look at it, and he slides. I think that's super harsh. I think it's a penalty, by the way. I don't understand what happened to the double jeopardy thing. What happened to comments?
Carvajal is covering. I mean, I know he can't use his hands, but he's think a penalty. There is a hand on Marcello, but he's misjudged the bounce, and I don't think that's affected it.
That is just a joke, isn't it? And the referee is made to look a fool. And now the PSG players surrounding the referee, and obviously the big man will come back on because he's no longer red carded.
Yeah, I mean, I don't think it's affected anything, but why they insist on arguing that these decisions, he's made his decision, he's seen a replay, he's changed his mind. What's he going to do? Look at a replay again, change it back? No, he's made his decision, they should just accept it.
Yeah, it's right, but it's really disappointing, and we're into the end of the half. Marcello flicked his little header on, and then he's desperate for something because they're going to lose the ball. But that's not a foul. Every bit of contact does not make a foul. Yeah, it was a little dinky shove in the back when 3 weeks of added time now. But all that, and if the referee didn't, presumably the referee saw that. I mean, we must have both seen that and just not even noted it. It wasn't even.
Well, it's a really awful header from Marcello. Now, because of the hand, of course, you make it look obvious, don't you? He's headed it to no one, and so he's gone over. You could argue he was out of position. He's running down his slot, wasn't he, Di Maria? It's a soft one.
Well, here's Marcello in the box now, raking ball across the face, and Benzema controls it with his chest. Then. Really extravagant back heel, it didn't quite work out, and Juan Bernat's done a good job there, and that will just be a goal kick.
Spurs are going to go back, by the way. Juventus have just taken the lead, so got the goals going in pretty much on the stroke of half time there. Bayern thought they'd had a second, but that's been overturned, presumably overturned by VAR.
Well, there's still a chance that Atletico Madrid might not go through in Europe. Final group game looks easy for them against Lokomotiv Moscow. But Bayer Leverkusen have got Juventus at home, and they'll only be a point behind them in that Group D. In this group, it's pretty much sorted, isn't it? Although they don't know quite who's going on to Europa League. I don't know what the final game is, but between Bruges and Galatasaray, having seen Bruges play so well at the Bernabeu, I kind of like to see them go through. Anyway, Real Madrid won Paris Saint-Germain 0, and we're closing in on the end of an interesting first half. But undoubtedly, Real Madrid have been the better team, but some shenanigans meant that PSG didn't get what was a clear and obvious penalty, and had they got it, Real Madrid would have given a penalty and also been reduced to 10 men. So to say that was the pivotal point of the game is not overstating it, I think. Anyway, the game's only halfway through, but referee now trying to calm things down. And not an easy game for Arthur Diaz, the Portuguese referee. As PSG now with Mbappe trying to make something work. He's on the left-hand side trying to take on Carvajal. Not getting that much change out of him. As Rob said, if he played on the other side as he started, he'd be running into a big gap where Marcello was, because he's always the head of the game, isn't he? So, I don't really understand Tommy Tuchel's tactics in this regard, as the referee looks at his watch, blows his whistle, or is he just about to do that? In fact, yes he does, and so it's Real Madrid who have a 1-goal lead at the break.
Full-time at the Bernabeu, it's Real Madrid 1, PSG 0. PSG started brightly, Icardi missing the target with a couple of efforts before Real Madrid scored. Nice move as well, Valverde and Carval working it down the right-hand side, pulled it back for Isco, his effort struck the post and Benzema smashed home the rebound. Real Madrid were then on top, testing Navas from all sorts of angles, didn't quite nice move as well, Valverde and Carval working it down the right-hand side, pulled it back for Isco, his effort struck the post and Benzema smashed home the rebound. Real Madrid were then on top, testing Navas from all sorts of angles, didn't quite find that second and pretty much on the stroke of half-time. PSG thought they had a penalty and a red card for Courtois. It was overturned after the referee spotted a foul in the build-up. Full-time at the Bernabeu, it's Real Madrid 1, PSG 0. PSG started brightly, Icardi missing the target with a couple of efforts before Real Madrid scored. Nice move as well, Valverde and Carval working it down the right-hand side, pulled it back for Isco, his effort struck the post and Benzema smashed home the rebound. Real Madrid were then on top, testing Navas from all sorts of angles, didn't quite find that second and pretty much on the stroke of half-time. PSG thought they had a penalty and a red card for Courtois. It was overturned after the referee spotted a foul in the build-up. Full-time at the Bernabeu, it's Real Madrid 1, PSG 0. PSG started brightly, Icardi missing the target with a couple of efforts before Real Madrid scored. Nice move as well, Valverde and Carval working it down the right-hand side, pulled it back for Isco, his effort struck the post and Benzema smashed home the rebound. Real Madrid were then on top, testing Navas from all sorts of angles, didn't quite find that second and pretty much on the stroke of half-time. PSG thought they had a penalty and a red card for Courtois. It was overturned after the referee spotted a foul in the build-up. Full-time at the Bernabeu, it's Real Madrid 1, PSG 0. PSG started brightly, Icardi missing the target with a couple of efforts before Real Madrid scored. Nice move as well, Valverde and Carval working it down the right-hand side, pulled it back for Isco, his effort struck the post and Benzema smashed home the rebound. Real Madrid were then on top, testing Navas from all sorts of angles, didn't quite find that second and pretty much on the stroke of half-time. PSG thought they had a penalty and a red card for Courtois. It was overturned after the referee spotted a foul in the build-up. Full-time at the Bernabeu, it's Real Madrid 1, PSG 0. PSG started brightly, Icardi missing the target with a couple of efforts before Real Madrid scored. Nice move as well, Valverde and Carval working it down the right-hand side, pulled it back for Isco, his effort struck the post and Benzema smashed home the rebound. Real Madrid were then on top, testing Navas from all sorts of angles, didn't quite find that second and pretty much on the stroke of half-time. PSG thought they had a penalty and a red card for Courtois. It was overturned after the referee spotted a foul in the build-up. Full-time at the Bernabeu, it's Real Madrid 1, PSG 0. PSG started brightly, Icardi missing the target with a couple of efforts before Real Madrid scored. Nice move as well, Valverde and Carval working it down the right-hand side, pulled it back for Isco, his effort struck the post and Benzema smashed home the rebound. Real Madrid were then on top, testing Navas from all sorts of angles, didn't quite find that second and pretty much on the stroke of half-time. PSG thought they had a penalty and a red card for Courtois. It was overturned after the referee spotted a foul in the build-up. Full-time at the Bernabeu, it's Real Madrid 1, PSG 0. PSG started brightly, Icardi missing the target with a couple of efforts before Real Madrid scored. Nice move as well, Valverde and Carval working it down the right-hand side, pulled it back for Isco, his effort struck the post and Benzema smashed home the rebound. Real Madrid were then on top, testing Navas from all sorts of angles, didn't quite find that second and pretty much on the stroke of half-time. PSG thought they had a penalty and a red card for Courtois. It was overturned after the referee spotted a foul in the build-up. Full-time at the Bernabeu, it's Real Madrid 1, PSG 0. PSG started brightly, Icardi missing the target with a couple of efforts before Real Madrid scored. Nice move as well, Valverde and Carval working it down the right-hand side, pulled it back for Isco, his effort struck the post and Benzema smashed home the rebound. Real Madrid were then on top, testing Navas from all sorts of angles, didn't quite find that second and pretty much on the stroke of half-time. PSG thought they had a penalty and a red card for Courtois. It was overturned after the referee spotted a foul in the build-up. Full-time at the Bernabeu, it's Real Madrid 1, PSG 0. PSG started brightly, Icardi missing the target with a couple of efforts before Real Madrid scored. Nice move as well, Valverde and Carval working it down the right-hand side, pulled it back for Isco, his effort struck the post and Benzema smashed home the rebound. Real Madrid were then on top, testing Navas from all sorts of angles, didn't quite find that second and pretty much on the stroke of half-time. PSG thought they had a penalty and a red card for Courtois. It was overturned after the referee spotted a foul in the build-up. Full-time at the Bernabeu, it's Real Madrid 1, PSG 0. PSG started brightly, Icardi missing the target with a couple of efforts before Real Madrid scored. Nice move as well, Valverde and Carval working it down the right-hand side, pulled it back, but Isco, his effort struck the post, and Benzema smashed home the rebound. Real Madrid were then on top, testing Navas from all sorts of angles, didn't quite find that second, and pretty much on the stroke of half-time, PSG thought they had a penalty and a red card for Courtois. It was overturned after the referee spotted a foul in the build-up. Full-time at the Bernabeu, it's Real Madrid 1, PSG 0. PSG started brightly, Icardi missing the target with a couple of efforts before Real Madrid scored. Nice move as well, Valverde and Carval working it down the right-hand side, pulled it back, but Isco, his effort struck the post, and Benzema smashed home the rebound. Real Madrid were then on top, testing Navas from all sorts of angles, didn't quite find that second, and pretty much on the stroke of half-time, PSG thought they had a penalty and a red card for Courtois. It was overturned after the referee spotted a foul in the build-up. Full-time at the Bernabeu, it's Real Madrid 1, PSG 0. PSG started brightly, Icardi missing the target with a couple of efforts before Real Madrid scored. Nice move as well, Valverde and Carval working it down the right-hand side, pulled it back, but Isco, his effort struck the post, and Benzema smashed home the rebound. Real Madrid were then on top, testing Navas from all sorts of angles, didn't quite find that second, and pretty much on the stroke of half-time, PSG thought they had a penalty and a red card for Courtois. It was overturned after the referee spotted a foul in the build-up. Full-time at the Bernabeu, it's Real Madrid 1, PSG 0. PSG started brightly, Icardi missing the target with a couple of efforts before Real Madrid scored. Nice move as well, Valverde and Carval working it down the right-hand side, pulled it back, but Isco, his effort struck the post, and Benzema smashed home the rebound. Real Madrid were then on top, testing Navas from all sorts of angles, didn't quite find that second, and pretty much on the stroke of half-time, PSG thought they had a penalty and a red card for Courtois. It was overturned after the referee spotted a foul in the build-up. Full-time at the Bernabeu, it's Real Madrid 1, PSG 0. PSG started brightly, Icardi missing the target with a couple of efforts before Real Madrid scored. Nice move as well, Valverde and Carval working it down the right-hand side, pulled it back, but Isco, his effort struck the post, and Benzema smashed home the rebound. Real Madrid were then on top, testing Navas from all sorts of angles, didn't quite find that second, and pretty much on the stroke of half-time, PSG thought they had a penalty and a red card for Courtois. It was overturned after the referee spotted a foul in the build-up. Full-time at the Bernabeu, it's Real Madrid 1, PSG 0. PSG started brightly, Icardi missing the target with a couple of efforts before Real Madrid scored. Nice move as well, Valverde and Carval working it down the right-hand side, pulled it back, but Isco, his effort struck the post, and Benzema smashed home the rebound. Real Madrid were then on top, testing Navas from all sorts of angles, didn't quite find that second, and pretty much on the stroke of half-time, PSG thought they had a penalty and a red card for Courtois. It was overturned after the referee spotted a foul in the build-up. Full-time at the Bernabeu, it's Real Madrid 1, PSG 0. PSG started brightly, Icardi missing the target with a couple of efforts before Real Madrid scored. Nice move as well, Valverde and Carval working it down the right-hand side, pulled it back, but Isco, his effort struck the post, and Benzema smashed home the rebound. Real Madrid were then on top, testing Navas from all sorts of angles, didn't quite find that second, and pretty much on the stroke of half-time, PSG thought they had a penalty and a red card for Courtois. It was overturned after the referee spotted a foul in the build-up. Full-time at the Bernabeu, it's Real Madrid 1, PSG 0. PSG started brightly, Icardi missing the target with a couple of efforts before Real Madrid scored. Nice move as well, Valverde and Carval working it down the right-hand side, pulled it back, but Isco, his effort struck the post, and Benzema smashed home the rebound. Real Madrid were then on top, testing Navas from all sorts of angles, didn't quite find that second, and pretty much on the stroke of half-time, PSG thought they had a penalty and a red card for Courtois. It was overturned after the referee spotted a foul in the build-up. Full-time at the Bernabeu, it's Real Madrid 1, PSG 0. PSG started brightly, Icardi missing the target with a couple of efforts before Real Madrid scored. Nice move as well, Valverde and Carval working it down the right-hand side, pulled it back, but Isco, his effort struck the post, and Benzema smashed home the rebound. Real Madrid were then on top, testing Navas from all sorts of angles, didn't quite find that second, and pretty much on the stroke of half-time, PSG thought they had a penalty and a red card for Courtois. It was overturned after the referee spotted a foul in the build-up. Full-time at the Bernabeu, it's Real Madrid 1, PSG 0. PSG started brightly, Icardi missing the target with a couple of efforts before Real Madrid scored. Nice move as well, Valverde and Carval working it down the right-hand side, pulled it back, but Isco, his effort struck the post, and Benzema smashed home the rebound. Real Madrid were then on top, testing Navas from all sorts of angles, didn't quite find that second, and pretty much on the stroke of half-time, PSG thought they had a penalty and a red card for Courtois. It was overturned after the referee spotted a foul in the build-up. Of time at the Bernabeu, it's Real Madrid 1, PSG 0. PSG started brightly. Icardi missing the target with a couple of efforts before Real Madrid scored. Nice move as well. Valverde and Carval working it down the right-hand side, pulled it back, but Isco, his effort struck the post, and Benzema smashed home the rebound. Real Madrid were then on top, testing Navas from all sorts of angles. Didn't quite find that second, and pretty much on the stroke of half-time, PSG thought they had a penalty and a red card for Courtois. It was overturned after the referee spotted a foul in the build-up. Of time at the Bernabeu, it's Real Madrid 1, PSG 0. PSG started brightly. Icardi missing the target with a couple of efforts before Real Madrid scored. Nice move as well. Valverde and Carval working it down the right-hand side, pulled it back, but Isco, his effort struck the post, and Benzema smashed home the rebound. Real Madrid were then on top, testing Navas from all sorts of angles. Didn't quite find that second, and pretty much on the stroke of half-time, PSG thought they had a penalty and a red card for Courtois. It was overturned after the referee spotted a foul in the build-up. Of time at the Bernabeu, it's Real Madrid 1, PSG 0. PSG started brightly. Icardi missing the target with a couple of efforts before Real Madrid scored. Nice move as well. Valverde and Carval working it down the right-hand side, pulled it back, but Isco, his effort struck the post, and Benzema smashed home the rebound. Real Madrid were then on top, testing Navas from all sorts of angles. Didn't quite find that second, and pretty much on the stroke of half-time, PSG thought they had a penalty and a red card for Courtois. It was overturned after the referee spotted a foul in the build-up. Of time at the Bernabeu, it's Real Madrid 1, PSG 0. PSG started brightly. Icardi missing the target with a couple of efforts before Real Madrid scored. Nice move as well. Valverde and Carval working it down the right-hand side, pulled it back, but Isco, his effort struck the post, and Benzema smashed home the rebound. Real Madrid were then on top, testing Navas from all sorts of angles. Didn't quite find that second, and pretty much on the stroke of half-time, PSG thought they had a penalty and a red card for Courtois. It was overturned after the referee spotted a foul in the build-up. Of time at the Bernabeu, it's Real Madrid 1, PSG 0. PSG started brightly. Icardi missing the target with a couple of efforts before Real Madrid scored. Nice move as well. Valverde and Carval working it down the right-hand side, pulled it back, but Isco, his effort struck the post, and Benzema smashed home the rebound. Real Madrid were then on top, testing Navas from all sorts of angles. Didn't quite find that second, and pretty much on the stroke of half-time, PSG thought they had a penalty and a red card for Courtois. It was overturned after the referee spotted a foul in the build-up. Of time at the Bernabeu, it's Real Madrid 1, PSG 0. PSG started brightly. Icardi missing the target with a couple of efforts before Real Madrid scored. Nice move as well. Valverde and Carval working it down the right-hand side, pulled it back, but Isco, his effort struck the post, and Benzema smashed home the rebound. Real Madrid were then on top, testing Navas from all sorts of angles. Didn't quite find that second, and pretty much on the stroke of half-time, PSG thought they had a penalty and a red card for Courtois. It was overturned after the referee spotted a foul in the build-up. Of time at the Bernabeu, it's Real Madrid 1, PSG 0. PSG started brightly. Icardi missing the target with a couple of efforts before Real Madrid scored. Nice move as well. Valverde and Carval working it down the right-hand side, pulled it back, but Isco, his effort struck the post, and Benzema smashed home the rebound. Real Madrid were then on top, testing Navas from all sorts of angles. Didn't quite find that second, and pretty much on the stroke of half-time, PSG thought they had a penalty and a red card for Courtois. It was overturned after the referee spotted a foul in the build-up. Of time at the Bernabeu, it's Real Madrid 1, PSG 0. PSG started brightly. Icardi missing the target with a couple of efforts before Real Madrid scored. Nice move as well. Valverde and Carval working it down the right-hand side, pulled it back, but Isco, his effort struck the post, and Benzema smashed home the rebound. Real Madrid were then on top, testing Navas from all sorts of angles. Didn't quite find that second, and pretty much on the stroke of half-time, PSG thought they had a penalty and a red card for Courtois. It was overturned after the referee spotted a foul in the build-up. Of time at the Bernabeu, it's Real Madrid 1, PSG 0. PSG started brightly. Icardi missing the target with a couple of efforts before Real Madrid scored. Nice move as well. Valverde and Carval working it down the right-hand side, pulled it back, but Isco, his effort struck the post, and Benzema smashed home the rebound. Real Madrid were then on top, testing Navas from all sorts of angles. Didn't quite find that second, and pretty much on the stroke of half-time, PSG thought they had a penalty and a red card for Courtois. It was overturned after the referee spotted a foul in the build-up. Of time at the Bernabeu, it's Real Madrid 1, PSG 0. PSG started brightly. Icardi missing the target with a couple of efforts before Real Madrid scored. Nice move as well. Valverde and Carval working it down the right-hand side, pulled it back, but Isco, his effort struck the post, and Benzema smashed home the rebound. Real Madrid were then on top, testing Navas from all sorts of angles. Didn't quite find that second, and pretty much on the stroke of half-time, PSG thought they had a penalty and a red card for Courtois. It was overturned after the referee spotted a foul in the build-up. Of time at the Bernabeu. Well, a warm welcome back to our coverage now of the action taking place at the Bernabeu. Real Madrid, good value for a 1-0 lead, although right at the stroke of half-time, PSG thought they had a route back in it. Icardi brought down in the box by Courtois, penalty in the red given initially, but the referee went and had a look at the video and decided there was a foul on Marcelo in the build-up, so all those subsequently overturned. The red card, the penalty, etc. A change made at the start of the second half, and Neymar is entering the fray. No surprise at all that he's coming on. Didn't quite look at it at their best, did they, PSG. Idrissa Gueye is the man who's going off, so it's certainly an attacking move. Whether that means Angel Di Maria will just drop back a little bit deeper, I'm assuming it will. Maybe they'll just go 4-2-4, who knows, but I suppose it's a change PSG had to make because they were second best in that first half.
Yeah, but one of their better midfielders they've taken off, and it's like hopeful that maybe they can get on the front foot, and maybe Neymar's going to play on the left, so Mbappe can go on the right into the hole created by Marcelo going forward. But we'll have to wait and see.
Yeah, just a quick update as the second half just gets underway. The other scores: Atalanta 2-0 up, Bayern lead 1-0, Juventus 1-0 up as well. Real Madrid, of course, you know, 1-0 up, and Olympiacos 2-1 up at Tottenham. The only game without a goal is Man City versus Shakhtar Donetsk. Here's Real Madrid straight on the attack. PSG kicked off. Marcelo though has it, streaming down the left-hand side. Early ball in towards the far post, must be tapping. Oh, what a save it is from Navas. Navas Benzema perhaps didn't hit it with the conviction that he hit the opener with. It looked like a tap-in, and the keeper's made a big save.
Yeah, he's done really well there because he's diving towards his near post to cover that. He's making sure though that his legs are out as far as they can. He's extending his body, and it means when that ball's flicked back on the inside of him that he's got something left in there. But it's a terrific save from the keeper.
Yeah, just a corner. I'm not sure it wasn't offside actually. The corner comes in, headed away though by Thiago Silva, picked up by Neymar just outside his own box. He's not going to clear it. He's running with it downfield. Got all the way up to the halfway line. Sidesteps his international teammate Marcelo, but then Meunier rather gets his feet in a mess as he collects the pass, and it goes out of play for a throw in to Real. It's just inside their own half, left hand side. And Di Maria still playing out on the right. Maybe Neymar's in there kind of like a number 10, central midfield-ish, because Mbappe looks as though he's still on the left. Certainly four up top in a way, but Neymar just playing off Icardi. Getting involved quite deep near the halfway line, Neymar. Obviously trying to win back the fans. He's fallen out with his fans as well. He wins a free kick. Trying to ghost between Valverde and Cruz. Somebody's brought him down, says the referee, and the free kick is Neymar's. PSG a good 40 yards or so from goal.
Yeah, Valverde's done on his left foot there, and he's taking his boot off now. Looks like it's just retying his laces. That's all right. So yeah, good news for him, and good to see him really. But whatever happens, I think you're allowed to leave somebody like that out your team. You may have an ego the size of a planet, what have you, but I think when it comes down to it, you've got to brush that aside, and if you're the manager, somehow find a way to pick those players who, have got slightly different agendas, as long as they're, playing as well as they can and not selling you short when they are on the football field. Then you've got to pick your best team.
Left-footed shot from Neymar, just on the edge of the box, hits the chest of Casemiro, spins well wide of the target, but it will be a corner kick to PSG, which Neymar's come across the take until Spurs have got an early equaliser in the second half. That's now 2-2. They were 2-0 down, of course, in that game. 2-2 now, with plenty of time left. Corner in towards the near post, headed away by Sergio Ramos. Headed back out towards the corner taker, but Benzema gets there ahead of Neymar and should be able to clear. Actually passes it into the 6-yard box, and Thibaut Courtois, he launches it downfield towards Isco. He and Verratti in an aerial battle. Neither win the ball actually, but Verratti reacts quickest to the loose one, and PSG have it back. So after the early chance for Benzema, PSG have got a semblance of control in this game now. Admittedly, we're only 3.5 minutes into the second period.
Yeah, it seems like a no-brainer really that Neymar should have started. there are very few clubs who can afford him, but Real Madrid have won. You know, it's a game that doesn't really matter, both are through. But Neymar could be saying to the Real Madrid fans, look at me, look how brilliant I am, you must need get me, like, you know, and start up almost like a groundswell. But anyway, here come Real Madrid driving forward.
Tony Kroos in the box, just tried a little step over the ball, got away from him, it's allowed Meunier to clear. That was stemmed because Neymar felt he was fouled, and the referee said the ball was won. So there was a break on, which they haven't quite managed to fashion a chance. Might change as Marcelo has it, finds Kroos, his cross, Paul Verratti intercepts, drops his shoulder, beats Marcelo. Now it's Marquinhos up to Neymar, a little flick, well, he was hoping to find Di Maria, but it's too heavy for the Argentine. One back by Sergio Ramos. Real Madrid come again, left hand side, with Eden Hazard arguably playing his best game for Real Madrid tonight. Hasn't seen much of the ball in the second half though. Obviously it's only 5 minutes old as Marcelo plays it up towards Benzema, controls it well enough, but then couldn't beat Kimpembe. It's cleared away, and in fact Benzema's penalised for a little push on Kimpembe. Free kick to PSG just inside their own half, their own box. And I suppose that free kick that essentially stopped the penalty, it's kind of meant we're going to see lots of free kicks, I would have thought. Very little contact, and the referee felt it was a foul, so I think we're going to see a lot of them.
Yeah, I don't know. We looked at the incident at half time with our colleagues, and you know they were all laughing about how weak the free kick that was given away. Talking to you know from a European point of view, Eric was suggesting that you know that would always be deemed foul play in Europe, in Italian football, what have you, and that they would always go back to that. In English football, VAR, it would have to be back to an obvious error, which that wasn't, so they wouldn't have looked at that. And then it's like, how far back in play do you go? But here come Real Madrid, a chance for them, and
a little bit of contact.
Well, look at Valverde. I mean,
he's offside.
He's offside by a mile. It was a poor challenge though from Valverde, wasn't it? Who wasn't going to get there. Bernat had got the run on him, and he just lopes round the back of him. Maybe he knew he was offside, but it might well have been a penalty kick had he not been offside, Bernat.
Bayern Munich have now scored a second goal. They had one disallowed in the first half, of course, but they're 2-0 up, and deadlock broken at the Etihad as well. Man City lead Shakhtar Donetsk by a goal to nil. So all the games have got a goal in the Champions League this evening. Of course, a couple of results. Galatasaray 1-1 with Club Brugge, and Leverkusen won 2-0 at Lokomotiv Moscow. They were early results, and this game still in the balance really. Real Madrid could do with the cushion of a second goal. They've arguably deserved it. Here they come again. Hazard, eventually brought down by Verratti. Referee tries to play an advantage. Well, he they're half stopped, all the players. Then Tony Kroos then fizzes it out towards the left-hand side and carrying Benzema. A little bit overcooked. I don't think Kroos knew it was an advantage, and certainly PSG didn't in the end. A little bit wasted. As we get another glimpse of that good save from Navas to deny Benzema his second.
Maybe Benzema, looking at that again, might just have decided to stop that ball stone dead and let Navas slide by, and then try either cut it back onto his left or you know chip it over him when once he slid past. But anyway, it's remarkable Benzema. He's still scoring goals in there, but I still can't help but think he's not the best out there, but he's got something going for him.
Verratti a little bit lucky, trying to dribble his way out of trouble. Tackled by Casemiro. Referee said a foul, but I mean the ball definitely went the other way. He got a piece of the ball. I'm not sure he got too much of Verratti, but the free kick's been given. He was right on it, was the referee, Arthur Diaz. And I suppose not massive complaints from Casemiro. Here's Kylian Mbappe with support on the outside in the shape of Bernat. Gets to Bayern, then pulls it back. Di Maria, he tries a cross, blocked by the chest of Valverde. That would go behind for a corner kick to PSG. You haven't overly threatened from set piece situations. Only takes one, of course. Neymar is going to whip it in from Paris left. Sergio Ramos just having a chat with the referee about something. Taken short to Bernat, back to Neymar on the angle of the 18-yard box. Plays it all the way back to Verratti, 40 yards from goal. Now Di Maria. Back inside to Munia. Tries his luck from 40 yards out. Doesn't hit the target.
It was about 40 yards wide in the end. He sliced out. He had a lot of time to think about it. So but he went for power, and it is what it is. I don't think Tommy Tuchel's thrilled with what's going on with his team. They have been second best, and they just need to get back in it a little bit more. And here they go, edge of the area, maybe a chance. Di Maria just gets caught on the ball there. He didn't have that much time, but they've created an overlap. Bernat then ball into the box, and at least they've got another corner kick.
Yeah, Varane in the way. A little bit of a shin, but job done initially. And another set piece, another corner. Of course, last corner they worked short and worked it out of trouble in the end. Seemed reluctant to put it in the mixer. That might change, I guess, now, given the way that previous corner failed so miserably. Neymar does throw it in towards the far post. Thibaut Courtois makes the claim and immediately bowls it out to Karim Benzema. That's a poor pass from him, though, although it's a good pass from Thiago Silva for Real Madrid. Obviously, Benzema was looking for Cruz. It was Thiago Silva who played it to him. But a bit of momentum lost, and it's back at the feet of Thibaut Courtois. Real Madrid still bossing things at the Bernabeu. They're still leading by that solitary goal from Karim Benzema. Really should have doubled the advantage not long after the restart. Good ball in from the left-hand side from Marcelo, in behind the defence. Arrived Benzema far post inside the 6-yard box, but it's a kind of tame finish really. He did hit the target, but Keylor Navas spread himself pretty well and made the block only for a corner. But they're looking a little bit more dangerous in the final third. Real Madrid. PSG's only effort at goal in this second half has been a 40-plus yarder, which was off target. So they're still struggling despite throwing Neymar on at half time. He replaced Idris again. Not quite working for PSG. Real Madrid 1, PSG 0.
Yeah, Marcelo goes down under the outstretched leg of Meunier. The referee thinks that's not a foul. Difficult one that. Should he have to hurdle the leg there? I don't know, but anyhow, I think it's quite confusing what is and what isn't. Long ball played to him back, but Carvalho's got a 10-yard start, and as quick as he is, he can't make up that ground. They brought Neymar on, who got on the ball a lot to start with. He's playing in the centre of midfield at the minute, so it would seem. But it's not really working out for him. As now Nasser trying to get forward, but a little flick there from Thiago Silva takes that ball away from him. Yeah, Tommy Tuchel made a change at half time and put Neymar on for a defensive midfielder, but they're not obviously that much better off. Although a decent start by Neymar, he's gone in his shell a little bit now. And like I said, they're playing central midfield, maybe not his forte. We see a shot from Cruz and that whistle's just wide. Well, he keeps on having a go, Rob, and that wasn't too far away. And again, it would be no great surprise to see one of these hit the back of the net.
No, probably be a little bit disappointed he hasn't at least tested Navas. Navas not completely sure that was going wide of the post. They've taken the goal kick short, like most teams these days, playing themselves into a bit of trouble. As it's cleared eventually by Kimpembe. It's actually blocked into touch by a Real Madrid player, Valverde, and so the throw-in should be PSG's. Carvajal trying to steal that one. He's eventually going to have to give the ball back as Neymar pings it over the top for Mbappe. Has it on pace to get there ahead of Ramos. Ramos quicker, in fact it's Varane who beats his countryman to the ball. Just dinks it down the line for Carvajal. Lots of space there, better pass from Neymar, and there's certainly an opportunity. Over hits though, and Real Madrid deal with it. So come up to an hour gone. Quick look at the benches for Real Madrid. Modric, Mendy, Areola, Jovic, Militao, Bale and Rodrigo on the bench as options for Real Madrid. For PSG. What's left? Cavani, of course, Rabia, Diallo, Rico, Draxler and Dagba. They have made the change in bringing Neymar on, so they've already made one of PSG, not quite to the desired effect as yet. Need to give him the ball a little bit more. Well, he's playing alongside the two centre-backs at the moment. Feeds it out to the left-hand side, and Bernat with Verratti up in support. Good ground made by PSG fairly quickly. Although Verratti then plays an awful pass, closed down by Valverde, and Real Madrid winning back. Eden Hazard on the halfway line finds Benzema, now Marcelo to Hazard as they amble down the left-hand side. Game just entering the 61st minute. Real Madrid 1-0 up, looking for that second. Benzema feeding out to Marcelo. No ball in towards the near post, glanced towards goal by Isco. 5 yards out, didn't quite have the room, it's smuggled behind by the keeper, just the corner.
Yeah, again, it's eye-catching stuff. A little bit of one touch in there, and Isco's definitely onside. And so Navas needs to get down low and protect his near post. Ball into the box again for Real Madrid, and eventually it will be cleared away. Neymar gives it straight to Marcelo. Marcelo with a shot blocked into the box. Again, a bit of shots in. They've had a little bit more of the ball the second half, PSG, but they're wholly unconvincing going forward. And Real Madrid got round the back again, ball to the box again. Just a little dink from Varane, and he's side-footed that one wide of the mark from close range. But they're beginning to show up well now. I think the longer it goes, the more you can see that Marcelo and Eden Hazard are building a relationship, and that they're finding each other at will, and that can only bode well for them. That's two of the best players in the world beginning to make it work together.
Here come Real Madrid again. Toni Kroos, 20 yards out, feeds it to the left edge of the box, and Marcelo is a winger, if not a forward at the moment. Little step over, toe pointing towards goal, near post as well. Disappointing. He did have options, trying to explain his options or his actions to 2 or 3 of those options. Decided to go for goal, a little bit of a waste, but Real Madrid finding gaps all over the place at the moment. PSG struggling to stem the tide. Maybe attack is the best form of defence. It's Mbappe down the left-hand side, gets past Casemiro, finds Neymar. He's just outnumbered in the end. Toni Kroos doing enough, helped out by Casemiro. And Real Madrid, well, they're looking comfortable at both ends of the pitch, winning the ball back fairly comfortably, and then threatening at the other end. PSG second best still.
Yeah, all this with the man short. I mean, you tell me what Valverde's there for. Just loping forward. Here he is, watching him score now. Anyway, no, he just flicks that ball back. I don't know what he is. Carvalho doesn't need the protection. He doesn't really play like a winger. But then what's he do? I don't understand. Anyway, but they're playing well whether he's any good or not. And the rest of the boys seem to know what they're doing. There's plenty of talent there. Isco's playing quite well today. Meunier just can't help himself, and he boots through the back of Eden Hazard. He really should be picking up a card for that. Let's take a look. A great attempt to play the ball. Referee lets him off rather, and maybe because he feels a bit sorry for PSG, who didn't get their decision when they wanted it. Off VAR.
It's the third goal actually. Bayern have got a fourth now, so well on top at Red Bull. Juve still lead Atletico by a goal to nil. City still 1-0 up as well. Couple to Atalanta in front. They of course started the Champions League pretty poorly, but trying to still keep their hopes alive. And Olympiacos through a 2-0 lead. Spurs 2-2 there. That's the latest format of the Champions League. Real Madrid of course lead Paris Saint-Germain by a goal to nil, and are looking the more likely in scoring that second goal. We know the quality is on the pitch. Hazard getting a bit of treatment actually for that foul. I think they're sending the stretch around to that far side, the Real Madrid left, and that would be a blow to Real Madrid if he had to go off. He's been pretty lively today.
It'd be a calamity. I think he's played pretty terribly, I would have said. That's a strong word and all that, but I've seen him playing. It's just like, well, who's robbed you of 5 yards, and where's your confidence gone, and why can't you beat a man anymore? I just thought, I didn't know what was up with him really, but it may be a confidence thing, or just a getting to know you thing, or maybe he was carrying an injury. The last thing they want now, because he looks like Eden Hazard of old, and the player that we expect, is a stupid injury to curtail his progress. Right ankle is what they're looking at, and they're just getting a bit of spray on that, but I think he'd be ready to carry on.
They're taking the free kick short. Obviously, a little bit of a stoppage there. Marcelo puts a dig ball in towards the far post, headed away by Meunier back there, and helped further clear by Verratti. Real Madrid will have it back on the halfway line as Valverde Feeds it down the right wing for Isco. Holding off two chances, Carvajal in fact, who tries to go around Verratti. Goes down very theatrically, doesn't get the free kick. Looks up the licence point for a goal kick. Can't tell you Shakhtar have equalised at Manchester City. So a bit of a surprise there perhaps. But that's now 1-1. Obviously plenty of time left in the game. Plenty of time for PSG to turn this around. Just haven't really created too much in this second half. Ball in towards the run of Mbappe. Courtois comes out and eventually clears. Not quite happening for PSG, but Neymar trying to get more and more involved, starting very deep, has it 30 yards out. Sliding challenge from Isco, has done enough to win the ball back. Forwards challenge really. Perhaps didn't know exactly what he was doing, but Neymar still couldn't beat him, and well, that means plenty of players forward have to sprint back into defensive positions, although Real Madrid have slowed it right down with about 66 minutes gone at the Bernabeu. Independent off-tube stereo commentary. Real Madrid 1, Paris Saint-Germain 0. That goal at the 17th minute, the difference. And Real Madrid, well, they've missed a few chances in this half, certainly in the game. No doubt they should win, as Navas came out of his area and then faked to go back in, little back heel, and he pulls away from Valverde, showing the Bernabeu what they could have had. I still think Courtois is trying to win over the fans at Real Madrid, as Bayern Munich score a 5th in their game. That looks home and hosed. Mbappe down the left-hand side. He's beaten one, beats a second, can't pull it back for Di Maria. Tony Cruz in the way. Casemiro clears. Now Isco picks it up, digs it past that Verratti, but Marquinhos spins it back, and PSG come again. 67 minutes ticking over. Neymar outside of the boot, can't tease it into the box to a teammate, and that's going to go through to Thibaut Courtois. That's the midpoint of the second half. Real Madrid looking the more likely of the two. Tony Cruz just fizzing one past the upright from the edge of the box, again given too much time and space. Good play down the left, not for the first time in this game. Firstly Marcello with a good ball in. Isco with a little flick, denied by Navas at his near post. And just moments after, Hazard broke down the left as well, pulled it back. Varane at the near post, just toe poked it wide from fairly close range. PSG aren't getting anything going at all really, despite the introduction of Neymar. What might help though, Eden Hazard, who was fouled by Meunier, doesn't look as though he's going to be able to continue. He's actually been replaced by Gareth Bale, injury to his right ankle, and he had been looking good today. So that's a blow for Real Madrid. They do still lead though by a goal to 0.
Well, he hasn't come on a golf buggy, but Gareth Bale's on. He may have burnt his bridges with the Bernabeu crowd, but I think they've been really unfair with him over such a long period. Gareth Bale, you can forgive him really. It's a sorry sight seeing Eden Hazard go off, who just eventually looked like he was